So my name's Vanessa Tanner. I am a freshly new realtor in the real estate industry. I come with close to 20 years of background experience in accounting. And last year, made the switch career fields. And, it's been really fun. It's a lot of learning and just ping ponging from people that have the experience. Anthony's been amazing. As you know, my dad too, he's like, and he's my neighbor. So he
Is
can't
he?
hide from me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
We
love it.
purchased the home next door to them when we had the opportunity to. So I'm like, hey, I got a question for you. No.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's start with that.
Yeah.
Tell us about your dad and the history and all that kind of stuff that it got you started. I mean, because you're second
Yeah.
generation, right?
I am second
Awesome.
generation.
Realtor,
So,
sorry.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's okay.
tell me all about him.
Yeah. So my dad, Hector Ontiveros, he started, oh God, over 20 years ago, well over 20 years ago. He's actually been with Remax Gold for 20 years this year, if I'm correct. And
20. Wow.
yeah,
That's a
but
long time.
it is. It's a long time, which is why he's got such a plethora of knowledge up here. And it's fantastic. It's
That's
amazing.
so, yeah. I mean, that's amazing to have
Yeah.
that at your disposal.
Absolutely. And just watching him, if I were to rewind to the first, 5 or 7 years of his career, 10 years of
Mhm.
his career, it was really neat to see this transformation because my dad, again, I think he was in his mid 40s when he made the assimilation to real estate. And just watching him thrive in this arena was, a different dad. That was like really cool. He was president of NASCAR, which is the Northern Solano Association of Realtors. He was president of our local Women's Council of Realtors and then president of NARAP, which is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals, which was
Wow.
really cool to see him not just thrive in leadership, but also in the area that really meant the most to him. And that was helping people and fulfilling that and hearing him talk about, his clients and just how that was really special to him in educating, especially the Hispanic community, educating the Hispanic community in how to buy a home and what those steps are. That really resonated with me. Just thriving in leadership and helping other people. Yeah.
And what area has he always been in the same? You guys, what area are you guys in right now, or
I'm
what?
in Solano County. We're in
So
Fairfield.
you,
Yeah,
yeah,
Solano
okay,
County.
okay. And you guys been there the whole
However,
time?
I was born and raised in San Mateo County. So I'm
Oh,
a
okay,
San Mateo County Peninsula girl. And my
nice.
parents moved out here when I was, oh God, 16. So,
Oh, okay. So, so you got to see your dad go through all of this, come into and so what did he do like before that? Like you said, he kind of came into his own and he was like thriving. Was he like in any type of sales or anything like that before that?
so prior to we have a family business. My grandfather, he actually opened his first restaurant in San Francisco in the Mission District in 1961.
Wow.
And it still stands, it's still there, but it also really spread throughout the Bay Area, whether it's Concord or South San Francisco, in San Francisco. So it really just kind of took off. And he was in the family business for many years. And when we moved out to Fairfield, that was right around that time when he started to contemplate making
Got
that
it.
switch.
Man, and that was like hit the ground running, didn't look back, and just
He
been like,
didn't.
so cool. Like I keep hearing about your dad. I've never met
Mhm.
him, never seen him, but I just, he's like a legend around Remax, and
Yeah.
especially working with Anthony. I'd like to get into Anthony. He's been on obviously the podcast before, but just the fact that being on his team, was that like a no brainer for you, or like were you what did he recruit you, or how did that come about?
So, as a matter of fact, I interviewed a few team leads, and because I come with the leadership background, it was really important for me to be able to click leadership style wise. And I felt like his leadership, that was a no brainer. I'm like, okay, you want to help, you really want to mentor and take people under your wing and give them all the resources and the tools that they need to really succeed. And yeah, when I had that conversation with Anthony, it was a no-brainer, and I'm really happy with the decision of joining the team.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. He's just an amazing guy, awesome person. Just and like the fact that he really wants to see us do as well. Like he doesn't care about as far as like stats. Like he just wants us, like, is this what is your goal? What do you want? Let's get you there. Like that's so cool. And I really
Yeah.
love that because I'm not a full-time realtor, unfortunately, because I work for the state. So he's been the most understanding about that. Like a lot of other brokers or real estate agents, they say like it can be done and all that kind of stuff, but he's like, okay, let's build a plan around it. Let's, how
Yes.
can we get you to your goal? And it's like so cool because he understands not just that aspect, just also having young kids and a family. And so I've just
Yes.
been like, and I've already been with him for a year too. Like I just started like right in July of last year. So like right after you, or yeah,
Yeah.
right after you started. And so it's been amazing ever since. I really love it.
Yeah, I know it has. I love that he understands too, right? Because, to your point, you have a family, you have kids, you have a full-time job. And so his strategies don't stop, if you're not, you know, throttle and your pedal to the metal. He's okay, all right, well, how can we then pivot so that your business still succeeds in the strategies and tactics that I'm gonna, plan for your help you
That's
plan.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And like even but he also has on his team, the amazing ones that are just, the Nickies and
Yeah.
the everybody else that are just in a different stratosphere, which is, and I'm sure I can only imagine like how he's helping them. It's just a totally different aspect or how he does it, but he's seen it all, he's done it all. He's been only with Remax and he's been in so many different positions. It's just, yeah, it was like, and the fact like when like I was thinking about coming on, um, he was telling me, he wants to get back to his roots, like what he enjoys being the,
Sure.
the team lead and that kind of stuff. And then I found out like all these people that used to work with him, all these realtors used to work with him, found out he's starting a team and they're all coming back. I was like, well, that's a no brainer. Like this guy's amazing. Like it just goes without saying. So yeah,
Well,
it's
I
been
mean, that
cool.
tells you something about his
It
style
does.
and his leadership, right? Because when you have former employees or former people, colleagues that have kind of, distanced themselves from something and they hear, oh, he's starting a team and they follow back, it's because of pure leadership in how this person conducts themselves in their business and how they affect
100%. Yeah.
others. Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Well, hopefully this will last for a long time for all of us.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
We got the new got the new building or location, office location, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's been
So
neat.
yeah, yeah. All right, so let's get into the questions. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Um, so we got into your dad, and so now with you as a second generation realtor, tell me. So you told me about your dad, and your. So what was your decision to, besides like your dad being in the field, like why did you decide to, carry on the legacy and become a realtor and make that
Sure.
jump?
Oh God, there's where do I start? No, no. So I will say, I told my husband years ago that I really wanted to do real estate at some point, in my life. Maybe it's 10 years before I retire. I leave the company I'm at now and I venture off and do real estate because, I really wanted that connection with other people. Again, my background's in accounting and I had gotten to a point in accounting where in leadership role of director of accounting, where I really had to assess where I was and the time I was spending at work, burning the candle at both ends of a stick, and then not being able to be as present as I wanted to for my younger one. So I have two kids. They're 12 years apart. Yes, I started all over again.
Oh, nice.
Uh, but again, I was in a different place in my career with my youngest than what I was with my oldest when I was raising her. And, again, it was a lot of burnout to where I was, and I was leaving the house before the kids were awake, and I was coming home when they were already back from school, and I'm attached to the phone. It just wasn't quality. And, when you reassess, is it worth again, burning the candle at both ends of the stick and the stress that you're under? if you're going to be missing out on so much and eventually starts to impact you and your mental, right? Like, gosh, I wish
Sure.
I was there. You feel bad. It's the mom guilt. I will
Yeah.
say there was a moment where my son's preschool called my husband that my son was sick instead of calling me. And that like shattered my mom heart. I was like, they called you.
Oh,
So, again, like when you reassess just really what's important in life, you start to really calculate, well, how can I make this goal come to fruition? Obviously, a lot sooner than 10 years before retiring. And, I decided to make the jump. But I will say, my husband had a lot to do with that without his support and just his
oh,
encouragement.
that's
Because
so
again, it's a scary job. You're leaving something that's, stable 40 hours a week, and you're always going to see it, right? And without, the partner that he is, without the husband that he is, it would have been really hard to do that.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Like that is got to be, and it affects not just you, it's like everybody, the whole family, and not just financially, it's like your whole
Yes.
life. And so that's so cool. I just nothing but respect
Yeah.
that you made that jump because so many people want to, like me, like, I also I had the same predicament and I have a family and I have a wife
Yeah.
and I have a mortgage and all that kind of stuff. So I've been working for the state for almost 15 years now.
Good
And
for
it's
you.
like I have this pension, like to walk away from that feels
Oh,
so irresponsible, And so I'm just gonna make it work and just do both. And I'm fortunate enough to where I can do
thanks.
that. But I'm just like nothing but respect the fact that you actually made that jump because a lot of people really want to do that, but just to be able to like do that and like just like you said, you're not having that consistent paycheck. You're relying on full commission now. So like
Correct.
that's like a totally different mindset, everything. So to
Yeah.
have that support from your husband is huge. I can only imagine.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that's
And
so cool.
it's been such a blessing. I remember I had a CEO tell me one time, he told me, you can't have it all. Like, you can't have time with your family and be successful.
That's a good
And
point.
when I heard that, I was like, dude, you're crazy. You're crazy. You
I like it.
can. And I
I
think
like it.
that's the firstborn daughter in me. I'm like, get out of here. You're crazy. Yeah, I can. Watch me.
Watch.
And
I like
and
that.
so everybody's definition of success is different, right? And I am able to, I'm taking my son to school every day. I'm picking him up from school every day. And I am present to help volunteer at school. I'm now, lo and behold, I'm PTG president for the next 2 years at a school. So just being able to do all that and be at
Wow.
every practice, be at every game. He's in baseball, he's in jujitsu, he's in swim. Just being present has
Yeah.
been that fills my cup, and that to me is success. And it does it affirms to me that you can have it all. It just depends on what your definition of success is.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because you could
Mm.
have all that money and
Yeah.
still be miserable, but in your
Correct.
mindset, like, yeah, you just having that fulfillment of being able to see your son and doing all those things and like, that's huge. Because I got,
Yeah.
I was before the pandemic, I was 6 a.m. going into office, so my daughter, I never
Yeah.
got to see her wake up, and that. So once we started working from home, I got to
Yeah.
see her wake up, and that. So it's like kind of those blessing in disguises, which is pretty cool. You kind of just got to be thankful for the things that you have too. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I think the pandemic forced us, just Americans across the nation and in other countries to really tap in and lean forward into technology. And, you see these teams being able to successfully perform outside of the office has been very impressive. And, at the end of the day, the bills are getting paid and we're billing our clients and whatnot, then obviously something is happening in the background. People are performing their job. It's been very impressive. Again, just watching that with the company I was at. You've got your project managers working remote. You've got your procurement department, your contracts department. Everybody's remote, and it was the wheels were turning.
Yeah.
And it really just kind of put it out there and in everybody's faces like, wait, we're in a place where we need to lean into technology. We are there. We're there.
Yeah, 100%. It like
Yeah,
forced us. Like it was like
correct.
overnight, literally overnight. And it was so funny because at my work they were like, "Oh no, it's just we couldn't do it like
I bet.
before the pandemic. Oh, it's just that too much money, not impossible, blah 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 blah." All of a sudden, they just make it happen overnight, and we're all teleworking. It's like, okay, that's funny how that works, but it worked out. Now, like even upper management loves it, but now they're
That's
bringing us back to the office. We're like, this sucks.
You know, I heard I've actually been working with somebody closely who also works for the state, and she was sharing, "Oh, it's
Uh,
coming, but we'll
uh,
see, we'll
at
see."
least we
Yeah.
got 5 years out of it. So, all right, sorry. Let's get into the next question. So, being bilingual
Uh,
and servicing Spanish speaking clients is a big plus. How has that unique edge helped you connect and stand out in your market?
I think that I'll give you a fun fact about me. When I was a junior in high school, my first job was with the local school district. I was a student clerk at night at the adult school. And the number of Spanish speaking students that were taking English courses there was, overwhelming. And being able to, when I say overwhelming, not overwhelming for me, but just it was a large number of them. And what was neat about that was being able to connect with them, be able to talk to them in Spanish, and then be able to educate them on the other classes that were being offered, whether it was a typing class, a computer class, a Microsoft class, a Word class, to sign them up, to convince them why it's good for them. Because it is. It's really good to be able to work, again, this was, oh God, I'm going to date myself. This was in 1999, before Y2K. And
Mhm.
yeah, you need to learn computers. You need to learn how to type. It's going to really propel you and help you. And it was really filling my cup being able to educate them and then see them sign up and be happy to take more classes. And so that was something really, fantastic for me at such a young age to be able to, get satisfaction out of helping other people better themselves. And another fun fact about me is I was in kindergarten when I really learned English. So my first language is Spanish. And
I
I
would
really
not. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell.
yeah, I really learned English when I was in kindergarten. So it holds a special place in my heart. My grandparents on both sides were immigrants, and my grandfathers understood and spoke enough. Grandmothers still as well understood and spoke enough of English. But I think that's why it really holds a special place in my heart, because I come from a family that had to learn English and may have struggled along the way. My first client was Spanish speaking, and she had already been with a couple different lenders, a couple different realtors, and really being able to bridge that gap and building the trust with her was rewarding, because she knew within that, and it took a couple days, but she knew, eventually that she could trust me. And
Aw,
she, wrote me a really sweet review. And I was very
aw.
appreciative of the trust that her and her husband were able to place in me, because they knew that I wasn't pulling a fast one. I was telling them everything I could that was going to lead them in the right direction. And, they've been really happy where they're at. Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's got to be super scary for, people that just technology in itself, like new technology, learning that stuff, like
Oh,
it's the English as your second language. I can only imagine how much harder it is. So to have someone like you who they can trust and not just trust, but like know, like, and trust you as like a person. And like, I'm sure that's got to be like so
yeah.
relieving because they can focus on buying their house and not worrying about,
Yes.
that barrier that is the English, the language barrier or understanding. So that's huge.
Yeah.
How many percentage wise? I know it's only been a year, but how many percentages of your clients have been Spanish speaking so far?
So
Do you
far,
think
so I've had 7 closings. 2 of them have been Spanish speaking.
that's pretty good?
Yeah. But I
7 in a
do,
year, very
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So 7 this
Congratulations.
year. I received my license in June 18th last year, and then I'm closing on the 7th one today. So I'm
Today,
pretty, yeah,
congrats.
today.
Very
Thank
awesome. Where's it
you.
at?
This one's in American Canyon. So
Cool.
I
Nice.
represented the seller. Yes.
Oh, you did? Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what about, is there anything that you were told when you, um, as a new realtor, um, would happen or you expect to happen, that you realize was just a bunch of BS, or that you've learned a totally different aspect or have a whole different way of thinking about it?
I'll say you hear, whether it's social media or you're reading it, an article that it's, real estate is hard. It's hard. You're not going to succeed. We're in this, downturn, and it's too difficult for new agents coming in. And I won't say it's BS. I completely can see how that could be. I think I've been blessed. I attribute it to a couple different things. I think it's good leadership. I think it's been partnering with other agents for, whether it's a referral of a client that so and so knows, in open houses, right? But that could very well have been the case. Like, I could have jumped in and had one sale or no sales last year, And so I think, again, it's not BS, but I think it is something to take heed to and put, ethic to, your work and the hard work and the hustle that, I think Anthony had told me this. He said, you're only as productive as the work you put in, right?
I like that.
And it's true.
It
So
is.
that I have seen, although sometimes, I can do 3 weekends of open houses in a row, as I've
Mhm.
been doing recently, and you
Mhm.
get skunked, whether it's
Mm.
like nobody walks through the house
Yep.
or they're all walking through the house with agents. So
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yep.
just got to
Yeah.
keep showing up. And I
Yep.
think that's definitely gone a long ways. Keep showing up.
Good point. Very good
Yeah.
point. That's the one thing with Anthony, that consistency. It
Mhm.
makes all the difference. Like, whether
Yes.
it's gonna be open houses, because there's a million different ways that you can generate leads
Mhm.
or, new clients. But I've also decided to go the open house route because you got in and you were doing so well, and it's one of those things that, I don't have a lot of money, but I have some time, and so I'm able to build at least do that. But
Yeah.
I've been skunked. I just did my, like, 3 weeks ago, my 10th open house since January, and I have not gotten one
Oh,
transaction.
really?
And he's like, "This is like once you actually get one, it's gonna be an amazing story to tell, but right,
Yeah.
just stick it out." I'm like, "Yep, you're right." But it goes to show, like,
Yeah.
going into this, like, it's never gonna be easy, but you are a go-getter. You started out right. You weren't waiting
Mhm.
for it to come to you. So there's a reason why you got 7 transactions. It's not
Yeah.
because it's easy. It's because you actually went in and did the work. And so, I think that makes all the
Yeah.
difference. And I
Thank
think
you.
people are watching, TV and social media, and, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
I can go sell a house, no big deal," or they think it's like, "Oh, I can't do that. That looks way too hard." But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, I think it really comes down, like you said, just the work ethic and being consistent.
Yeah. Consistent showing up.
So what's your goal? Like, do you have a number that you want to hit?
So, yes, we all have this number that equates to the salary that you want to make a year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I was very floored that I even hit 7 in my first year. Now, if I can do 10 to 12 the next year, that'd be great. If I can hit the same number, that'd be good because, in the first 2 years, I've been planting seeds that at some point they'll start to reap benefits, right? Over the course, the more seeds I plant, the more benefit I'll have later on. So, but I think 10 to 12 would be fantastic. I think again, 7 was, I was floored. I was pretty excited to be like, oh my God, 7. In the first year, I hear people were having a hard time doing, the 1 or 2. So I was really grateful. More than anything, it really humbled me. And now, we're going into a different market. I'm really feeling the difference between jumping in the summer. So when I started, actually, I got my license mid-June and I signed with Anthony on his team. I want to say like the last day of, June or July 1st.
Me
And
too.
and so but a lot of it was training, right? So I wasn't doing open houses right away.
Right.
I was purely training with the mock offers and really getting comfortable with contracts and forms and whatnot for a good solid month, maybe
That's
five
smart.
weeks. Yeah, he now you've had your license for a while though, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've since like right before the pandemic in
Okay.
2019. So
So
I
you
went at it differently. Had I started with Anthony, man, I wish I would have done all that, like because
yeah.
I didn't learn any of that. It just, you just learn the as you go type of thing, and
Yeah.
it's been rough compared to like. It seems like he would be perfect. Like he probably laid it all out for you and set you up nicely, huh?
Yeah, it was really neat. Like that was like the fun homework, right? Was the mock offer. Okay, cool. And he'd give me the deal points, and then over the course of the week, I'd put together the RPA and then all the other forms and addendums that I needed to based on the deal points that I needed to submit with the offer. So that was really helpful in being able to understand and identify the contract and then obviously identify what forms are needed to be attached to it based on what the situation was. That was really, really good.
And how often are you consulting with your dad, or were you consulting with your dad during this training, or were you just waiting until you actually like got into the field to like talk to him, or are you like chirping him the whole time?
No, so it was funny because I would do my homework and then I'm like, hey, dad, so what do you think about this? Because, I'd go and toot my horn like, hey, I think I got it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
And he's
okay.
like,
And he
listen
wouldn't
here.
give me feedback, because I didn't want him to. I'm like, don't give me, like,
Oh,
I think I got it, dad. And I tell him, what the deal points were and what I put together. And so he goes, wow, that's really good. He'd, hype me up and tell me, oh, yeah, you're doing awesome. But, in the back of his mind, he was probably thinking, oh, you're missing this or, oh, you forgot that. No, I think the first one or two really helped me pay attention to the details. And, after that, the mock offers were really fun. Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's such a great idea.
Yeah.
Such
Before
a
the
wonderful
mock
idea.
offers, though, he had me read the contract. Like, okay, I'm going to start sending you mock offers, but before we start that, I want you to get familiar with the contract. Go read it. And
So
so I
cool.
read it and I had notes of questions I had, based on the contract and what my interpretation was versus the question I may have had based on that interpretation. And then we went through the contract and the questions I had. That was really helpful. Yeah.
Man, were you always good at like school? You sound like a smart person, like book smart type of person. Like you could like absorb things pretty easily, huh?
I could, but as you get older, you have to read the same chapter 3 times because you've got
What
like
did I
all
just
these
read?
tabs open. You're like, oh, what I just
That's a
read,
good point. That's
right?
well put.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what
Uh,
happens to us as adults.
oh man, big time. It's crazy. It's like that
Yeah.
fog that just doesn't want to lift.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I totally get it.
I love it. All right, so what's your honest take on the current,
On the
you
market.
know, yeah, for Northern California though, or you can do California or Northern California, whatever you feel, or the nation.
So, what I have seen recently is, we all know that the seller's market is, 0 to 3 months. And, our buyer's market is when we're 6 months plus of inventory that's just sitting active aging. But I feel like we are inching towards this gray area where, we're still in a seller's market per se, but I feel like we're going into a gray area. Housing, that's a non-negotiable. People need housing, right? So you're always going to have a need for that. But I feel like it's become a stall lately, and it contradicts everything that I read and everything I'd heard and listened to going into this year, because this year is supposed to be, according to many people, the golden era or the golden year of real estate. And it's going to be fantastic. I've started to see, obviously these interest rates aren't going down. They're
Yeah.
not. Um, and what has, happened, what I've seen even in my own neighborhood is the home prices have started to decline. Not plummet, but they started to decline. And they started, slowly coming down. And, Anthony says this, we can't control the market. And really a home is truly worth what a buyer's willing to pay for it. Right. And it's been weird because we're not in a buyer's market, but the houses are coming down and the buyers truly are, impacting what the market's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you consider it like a neutral, kind of a neutral market, or gearing towards a neutral?
Yeah, that middle point where it's like not
Yeah.
a seller's, but it's not a
Yeah.
buyer's. But what's
Yeah.
interesting to me is the buyers are stalling out, right? And so, you know, they see a home that's been sitting on the market now for 4 months. They're going to dictate. It's not 6 months, it's 4 months, but they're going to dictate, okay, well, I'll offer 40,000 less. And if that home, because we've seen houses be active on the market and may have only received one offer, maybe two, right? Before they close on a deal because they've sat for so long. So this buyer
Good
offers
point.
40K less. Is the seller going to walk away from something? Their house has been sitting for 4 months, but it's not a buyer's market according to statistics, right? Because it hasn't sat
Right.
for 6 months yet. Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to explain that to your
it
sellers
is.
too. You're like, I
Yes.
promise you, it's not a buyer's market. Like,
Right?
why is my house sitting?
Because technically we are walking into that medium, that neutral ground, but
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like it.
I know it's hard, but
Yeah.
I like it because, we've been in a buyer's market. So now, I mean, obviously, I always want it to be busier, but we always do as realtors. But I want to be able to experience all types of markets, and
Market, so
I know that's going to come as I get more experience. But yeah, because all we have, or all, like, basically I've known, is like the pandemic and those sub three interest rates, and everybody just wanting a house, and like that was like anybody could buy a house, anybody could sell a house at that time. But
yeah,
now it's like these are where the true realtors that actually are wanting
hang
to
in
be in
there.
this business when times are tough. Like, this is where the ones that stick it out are the ones that you can tell that are the ones that
That have grit.
actually are doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's, showing up and just having the grit to keep going, I think will go a long way for many agents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. So I saw on your um Instagram that you
Yeah.
are into your video marketing strategy. So do you have like can you kind of walk us through your
Yeah.
creative process, or do you have a creative process, and what's your way of kind of standing out? And do you have
Trying
like
to.
do you like to tell stories, or is there any special things you want to share?
Well, I'm not a marketing major, but real estate has really forced me to think about what techniques, what content, because content's so, for someone who just jumped into this, content's big, and social media has been on the rise and will continue to be on the rise. So how do I pair those two together? Um, I took to AI. I did. I took to AI
Nice.
to help me with a calendar of content and what I should and shouldn't, just to help me be creative and like think like what
Good for
should I be
you.
posting as a new agent?
Yeah.
And it helped me, compile a calendar of content, and that's been helpful. That and obviously Canva, because Canva's
Canva.
a big thing. I know there's many other products out there in the market, but being that I'm such a newbie, I've really tried to dabble in Canva enough to, make the content to post on Instagram.
You can do a lot with Canva, a
Yeah.
lot. And the fact that you're just sticking to just Canva is awesome because it's so
Okay.
easy. I
Yeah.
call it shiny object syndrome because I'm just like, something new, gotta try this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, and then it just gets overwhelming, and then you're not
Yeah.
even really using any of them. So, Canva has everything, anything that you need, and you're obviously doing a really good job. And yeah, I like what I was going
Thank
through your
you.
posts, and yeah, very cool stuff. So, I was
Um,
impressed.
I think that Instagram as well. This was actually a suggestion that Anthony had given me. He said, there's templates within the Reels in Instagram. So I tried to use their templates in Instagram, and that's, been some of the content I've also added to. So
Oh,
that's been
cool.
pretty neat to
Nice.
use. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, check out Descript if you ever decide to do more video
You
stuff.
said auto script?
Descript.
Descript. Oh, yes, you did say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to put that in.
I think you can like try it for free, but it's limited, obviously. But anyway. So we already kind of talked about AI, so I guess we'll kind of skip over that one. there's there's a lot of noise about the commission structures and big changes in the
Yeah.
industry. How are you adapting, and what advice do you have for agents unsure of what's next?
In all fairness, I jumped in when all that was shifting with the BRBC and, what changes can impact agents and buyers agents and kind of that fear and the mass transition. So I came in at a perfect time. I was like, oh, this is a no
It's
brainer.
all I
Why
know.
wouldn't you
Yeah,
want to lock in your rate? I mean, not your rate, your compensation anyway. Like,
good point.
I want to. Why wouldn't you want to? So that wasn't difficult for me. That to me was again like a CYA. This is, something that you're able to disclose and work through with your client beforehand. Obviously, you hope that the other party plays fair and plays the way that we've always played. I have had a transaction where the seller wasn't willing to pay all of it. And so they weren't willing to be traditional and do what traditionally sellers have done and pay a buyer's
Hmm.
compensation. So they agreed on half and half. And that was the first for the lender at the time, too. They're like, oh, I haven't had one of these. And, trying to process the demands and understanding, wait, who's paying for what? That was, yeah, pretty
And
interesting to see.
so it actually like ended up being 50-50, or did they end? Oh wow.
Yeah. So,
So
actually not exactly 50-50. I think, it was, one paid like 2/3 and the other paid a third.
gotcha.
Yeah.
But basically, it's just they're just adding that to the buyer's loan, right? Is that right,
Yes,
or is that
they were
coming out of
able to.
pocket?
They were
Oh,
able
okay.
to wrap it into closing costs. So,
Okay.
however, the lender ended up doing that for them, but they were able to
Man,
wrap it up into the closing costs.
that's crazy. You think
Yeah.
about how much interest they're paying on that though for the life of the loan. That sucks. But
Yeah. Yeah.
they're in the house, and there's reasons, things happen for a reason. I believe you can always refi, and
Yeah.
there's and like for some people it's just a scary thing. So just to be able to get in, get it
Mhm.
done, and then once you're like a homeowner, then it's like, okay, it's like a different, I don't know, mentality. Then you're like, all right, now like I can actually I've done this before, I know what to do. Like
Yes. Yeah.
so,
And you mentioned something, the refi the rate. I think that's something that, it's so important to, I know a lot of buyers know this, but to remind them, right now, the prices of the homes they've been steady for a while. Yeah, we see them kind of starting to come down a little based on how long it's been sitting on the market. But what if you do see something that you really, just came on the market yesterday and you're like, that's the one? Because more times than not, when that's the one. And you're like,
no
oh,
doubt.
that's the one. It just came on the market. I want it now, right? It's
Yeah.
not going to sit for much longer. You're not going to have the opportunity to maybe negotiate a lower price. It just came on. Really educating them that, pull the
Yeah.
trigger, bite the bullet for now. And if those interest rates do come down in the next year, 18 months or, the next 3 years, you always have that opportunity to refi. I was working with an in-house lender for a builder on one of the transactions I had, and she made a good point. You can negotiate the interest rate later, but you can never renegotiate the price of the home in 2 years.
Oh, so true.
Yeah, yeah,
And they have these calculators now that, you know, if and then or now or later,
yeah.
and it's always beneficial to buy now instead of waiting and saving money or whatever your situation is. I know, like, the market is the market, and you have to buy based on what's best for your situation, your
Yes,
family. But
yeah.
at the same time, like, if you can do it, like, do it now. And I'm not
No,
just saying that as a realtor. Like, it's proven facts. Like, there's these calculators out there, and a lot of data out there that just proves it. Like, don't wait. If you can do it now, because you
yeah.
will end up saving so much and just having your homeowner sooner. So, like,
Exactly.
I don't know,
You have
but
equity at your fingertips 2 years sooner than if you were to wait. Yeah.
exactly, 100%. But so let's see. Fast forward 10 years. What does success look like for you? Is it, scaling a team, dominating content, or something totally unexpected?
I think success to me in the next 10 years, I thought about that. I'm like, what would mean a lot to me is having residual income from my clients, meaning, that I had a client 10 years ago that thought highly enough of me 10 years later to refer me to their child who is now 25 and married or looking to be married, and or their neighbor or their mom or their dad, because that fills my cup, because I did my job in building the trust that someone holds me close enough to them to be able to refer me to other people.
That's perfect. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's all about the relationships in this business. And every time, so like when I had Joy, she was one of the first people on this podcast, and it's all about the referrals. Like,
Yes.
that's what you're trying to, or at least what I'm trying to get to, because right now we're trying to
Yeah.
do open houses and try to generate leads and trying to do this and that. But the ones that have been in the business and they're really good at it and built these relationships, and like you said, planted those seeds for down the road. Well, those are the ones that they got these because they did a good job also.
Yeah.
They have these referrals coming back to them time and time again because that's the name of the business. You did a wonderful job, and
Yeah.
so that's I can totally see that happening for you because you
Yeah.
just are already hitting the ground running. Plus, you're a people person, and so I just yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
excited for you. It's gonna be cool to
Yeah.
see. Hopefully,
Yeah.
you're
No,
still
it's
on.
nice.
We're still working together at that point.
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely. It'd be really neat to see even 5 years from now, just like, okay, to see how that trajectory, for the first 5 years went and what worked, what
Yeah,
didn't work. And, that's going to be really neat to look back in 5 years.
yeah, that would be
Yeah.
cool. And then be able to look back with your family too, like we did
Yes.
it, like, that's such a cool thing. So
Yeah.
you said you have two kids?
I
They're
do.
12 years
I
apart?
do. They're 12 years apart. So
Right.
I've got a
Cool.
7-year-old and a 19-year-old. So when I was sending one off to kindergarten, I was sending the other off to college. So sort of all
Love it.
over. Yeah. Now
Are you
how many do
done?
you have? Oh yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, I feel you. Yeah, I only I have the two girls, five and a
Oh.
half, and just turned one. And I am done. I got fixed. I got clipped. As
You're
soon
like
as
one for each arm was enough. Two's good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was okay with one,
Yeah.
but my wife really wanted another one, and she's and I'm glad we did because Hazel is amazing. She's just like I'm such a
Oh,
girl dad. I was raised with women too. Like I'm
where are you?
the youngest and the only boy of
Okay.
like three older sisters and a stepmom, and so anyway, it's a cool dynamic and everything. Right now, they obviously really want mom, but I know I was told like usually about 7 to like I don't know, 7 to 12 or something like
Yeah.
that. They really want dad, so I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that part.
You're like, okay, 2 years with this
Yeah,
one, two more. Yeah.
I'm here, but like they're just like right
Yeah.
past me tomorrow.
Oh, how fun. So with my son, my husband and I, we really wanted another one too. But I'll tell you what, like this kid he did not sleep for 3.5 years. So we were
I
like,
bet.
oh God, should we get another? We'll never sleep. We will never
Oh,
sleep.
yeah,
So
exactly,
yeah, by the
exactly.
time we were sleeping, it was like he was 3.5, 4 years old. By then we're like, no, this sleep is so precious. Yeah.
Oh, big time. Yeah, just
Yeah.
time and sleep are just too precious.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, got one more for you.
Uh,
Um, so standing out in the crowded industry, let's be real, there are thousands of agents out there. What do you think really separates top producers from everyone else in today's market?
ooh. I would go back to just your work ethic and what Anthony said. You're only as productive as the work you put in. Also, I would attribute, standing out to those agents who have the knowledge and the industry best practices, right? So as a newbie coming in, I wasn't necessarily hip to all the technology, right? The technology, the social media, and how to use it to leverage it in my advantage. And so really getting familiar with that and AI, like I'd used AI But for an agent who can tie all that, the tech, the social media, the AR, the CRM, and understanding how to navigate through that and how to continually touch your CRM and use it to hopefully propel and touch those clients that are out there. And then farming strategies. That was completely new to me because the business was new to me. Had I not started to get familiar with it right away, I think it would have taken me a little longer to catch up. So I think that was a big part.
I agree.
Mhm.
That's and the consistency for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here. I know you're a
Sure.
busy person and that you provided so much valuable content.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.